What if I told you that one of the most beloved children's authors of all time wrote her stories in secret code, surrounded herself with live animals, and sometimes dissected insects to make her illustrations more accurate? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating writing routine of Beatrix Potter, the creative genius behind Peter Rabbit, Jemima Puddle Duck, and countless other timeless characters. These 7 secrets from her daily routine might just revolutionize how you approach your own creative writing. So grab your notebook and let's discover what made Beatrix Potter's writing process so magical. Here's secret number 1. Beatrix Potter was a morning person, and for good reason. She discovered that her brain was most creative in those quiet early hours before the world woke up. While most people were still sleeping, Potter would already be at her desk, drafting new stories and fleshing out ideas for both her text and illustrations. She understood something that modern neuroscience now confirms. Our brains are often at their most creative when we're well-rested and free from distractions. Think about it. No phone notifications, no social media pings, no interruptions from family or friends. Just you, your thoughts, and unlimited creative potential. The key is consistency. Potter didn't wait for inspiration to strike. She showed up every morning, ready to work. Some days the words flowed easily, other days they didn't, but she was always there to catch them when they came. Your takeaway? Try setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier and use that time for pure creative writing. No editing, no judgment. Just let your imagination run wild like Peter Rabbit in Mr. McGregor's garden. Secret number 2 might surprise you. Potter didn't just write about nature. She lived in it, breathed it, and made it her co-author. Every afternoon, after her morning writing sessions, Potter would head outdoors for what she called her nature immersion time. She'd take long walks through the countryside, observing animals and plants with the eye of both an artist and a scientist. But here's where it gets really interesting. She wasn't just casually looking around. Potter was conducting serious field research. She'd watch how rabbits actually moved, how their ears twitched when they were nervous, how they held their heads when they were curious. She studied the way light fell on flower petals and how insects navigated through grass. This wasn't just inspiration, it was preparation. Every detail she observed in nature would later show up in her stories and illustrations, making them feel incredibly real and authentic. Your creative challenge? Find your own nature, whether that's a local park, your backyard, or even people watching at a coffee shop. Spend time really observing the world around you. Take notes on what you see, hear, and feel. You'll be amazed at how this real-world observation enriches your fictional worlds. Secret number 3 reveals Potter's incredible dedication to accuracy. Even when she was tired at the end of a long day, she had one more crucial habit: evening research. Potter wasn't content to write charming stories with cute animals. She wanted her work to be scientifically accurate. So every evening, she'd dive into research about natural history, animal behavior, and botanical details. This is where her scientific background really shone through. She'd study anatomy books, read about animal habitats, and sometimes even dissect specimens to understand how bodies moved and worked. Yes, you heard that right. She would dissect insects and small animals to make sure her illustrations were anatomically correct. This might sound extreme, but it shows Potter's commitment to excellence. She understood that great writing comes from knowledge, not just imagination. Potter proved that even in children's literature, accuracy and authenticity matter. How can you apply this? Whatever you're writing about, whether it's fantasy, science fiction, historical fiction, or contemporary stories, become an expert on the details. Research the time period, the technology, the culture, the geography. The more you know about your story's world, the more convincing and immersive it becomes. Here's secret number 4, and it's one of my favorites. Potter literally surrounded herself with inspiration. Her writing space wasn't some minimalist, distraction-free zone. Instead, it was filled to the brim with tangible objects that fed her imagination. We're talking about pressed flowers, animal bones, rock specimens, live pets, and even insects in jars. Potter believed in what we might call hands-on inspiration. She needed to see, touch, and interact with the subjects of her stories. If she was writing about a rabbit, she'd have a real rabbit nearby to observe. If she was illustrating a flower, she'd have the actual flower in front of her. This might seem chaotic, but it served a crucial purpose. Potter was a visual learner who thought with her hands as much as her mind. Having these physical objects around her helped bridge the gap between reality and imagination. She once wrote that she felt an irresistible desire to copy any beautiful object which strikes the eye. Drawing and observing these objects didn't just improve her art, it sparked new story ideas and helped her work through creative problems. Your version might look different. Maybe you create mood boards, collect photographs, or gather objects that relate to your story. The key is to make your writing space a place that stimulates your senses and keeps your creative mind engaged. Secret number 5 is straight out of a spy novel. Beatrix Potter wrote in secret code. For over a decade, Potter kept extensive journals written in a code of her own invention. We're not talking about simple substitutions. This was a complex system that allowed her to squeeze thousands of words onto a single page in microscopic handwriting. Why the secrecy? Potter valued her privacy intensely. These coded journals gave her a safe space to record her observations, experiment with ideas, and express thoughts she couldn't share publicly. Some of these coded entries remain undeciphered to this day. But the journals weren't just about secrecy. They were powerful, creative tools. Potter used them to capture fleeting thoughts, record nature observations, draft story ideas, and work through plot problems. They were like her creative laboratory, where she could experiment without judgment. She wrote on everything: exercise books, scraps of paper, old textbooks, even the backs of other documents. If inspiration struck, she'd write wherever she could, in whatever medium was at hand. Your takeaway? Start keeping a writer's journal. And yes, you can use your own code if you want. The key is to have a place where you can write freely without worrying about grammar, spelling, or making sense to anyone else. Let it be messy, experimental, and completely yours. Secret number 6 reveals something beautiful about Potter's approach. She wrote for an audience of one. Many of Potter's most famous stories began as illustrated letters to specific children she knew, often the children of her former governess. Instead of trying to appeal to a broad, anonymous audience, she would picture one particular child and write directly to them. This wasn't just a cute habit. It was a brilliant writing strategy. When you write for everyone, you often end up connecting with no one. But when you write for a specific person, your voice becomes more authentic, more personal, and paradoxically, more universal. Potter understood that genuine connection happens one reader at a time. She'd think about what would make that specific child laugh, what would capture their attention, what would spark their imagination. This approach kept her writing grounded and relatable. Instead of getting lost in literary pretensions or trying to impress adults, she focused on creating stories that would genuinely delight her chosen reader. How can you use this? Pick a specific person, a friend, family member, or even a fictional reader, and write your stories directly to them. Ask yourself, what would make this person smile? What would they find exciting or funny or moving? Our final secret reveals Potter's approach to revision. She was absolutely relentless about making her work better. Potter didn't believe in one-and-done writing. She embraced what we now call iterative creation, constantly revising, redrafting, and improving her work through repetition. She would borrow her own letters and rough drafts, rewriting and resketching them as notes to herself before polishing them for publication. Sometimes she'd go through dozens of versions of a single illustration or paragraph. But here's what made her approach special. She wasn't precious about her work. If something wasn't working, she'd throw it out and start over. She valued progress over perfection and understood that sometimes you have to destroy good work to create great work. Potter also wasn't sentimental about her early drafts. If she thought something was silly or outdated, she'd destroy it without hesitation. This might seem harsh, but it kept her focused on moving forward rather than clinging to past efforts. Potter showed us that great writing isn't about getting it right the first time. It's about being willing to get it wrong many times until you finally get it right. Your writing lesson? Embrace the messy middle of the creative process. Your first draft doesn't have to be good, it just has to exist. Then you can revise, improve, and polish until it shines. So there you have it, 7 secrets from Beatrix Potter's writing routine that transformed her from a shy Victorian woman into one of the world's most beloved storytellers. Let's recap. Start your days with morning creativity sessions. Immerse yourself in the world you're writing about. Research with dedication and passion. Create a writing environment that inspires you. Keep a private journal for experimentation. Write for specific readers, not anonymous crowds. And never stop revising and improving. But perhaps the biggest lesson from Potter's routine is this: consistency beats perfection. She showed up every day, did the work, and trusted the process. Your writing routine doesn't have to look exactly like Potter's, but it should be uniquely yours, sustainable, and focused on the daily practice of putting words on paper. What's one habit from Potter's routine that you're going to try this week? Let me know in the comments below. That's all from us today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more lessons and ideas. See you next time.